Hello friends. So I know I'm doing a lot of Dante's recently, but I just feel like reading it. Some bad news is that boys stopped talking to me. It's just complicated and I don't really want to talk about it. So yeah, let's just read. I'm not even looking at the camera. I need to stay committed to that. So I'm going to be reading Canto 8 and Canto 9. They're looking pretty swag, so yeah, it's getting kind of exciting, kind of scary, kind of spooky. I'm currently uploading the fourth part right now. I might record some game stuff. Or maybe, actually, I'll record some makeup tutorials. I'll record a makeup tutorial. How about that? Yeah, I think so. Alright, let's go. So, Canto 8. Filippo Argenti, the gate of the city of Dis nuts. Okay. I say, continuing that long before we to foot of that high tower had come, our eyes went upward to the summit of it. By reason of two flamelets we saw placed there, and from afar another answered them, so far that hardly any eye could attain it. And to the sea of all disconcernment turned, I said, What saith this, and what respondeth? That other fire. And who are they that made it? And he to me, Across the turbid waves what is expected thou canst now discern, if reek of the morass conceal it not. Cord never shot an arrow from itself, that sped away athwart the air so swift, as I beheld a very little boat come o'er the water towards us at that moment, under the guidance of a single pilot, who shouted, Now art thou arrived, fell soul. Pelagius, thou criest in vain for this once, said my lord. Thou shalt not have us longer than in the passing of the slow. As he who listens to some great deceit that has been done to him, and then resents it, such became Pelagius in his gathered wrath. My guide descended down into the boat, and then he made me enter after him. Only when I entered it seemed laden. Delicious. Water. Soon as the guide and I were in the boat, the antique prow goes on its way, dividing more of the water than 'tis wont with the others. While we were running through the dead canal, up rose in front of me one full of mire, and said, Who art thou that comest ere the hour? And I to him, Although I come, I stay not, but who art thou that hast become so squalid? Thou seest that I am one who weeps, he answered, and I to him, with weeping and with wailing, Thou spirit maldite, do thou remain for thee I know, though thou art all defiled. Then stretched he both his hands unto the boat, whereat my wary master thrust him back, saying, Away there with the other dogs. Thereafter with his arms he clasped my neck, he kissed my face, and said, Disdainful soul, blessed be she who bore thee in her bosom. That was an arrogant person in the world. Oh, I feel so embarrassed about my hand with the tracing. It helps me read better. Goodness is none that decks his memory, so likewise his shade is furious. How many are esteemed great kings up there, who shall be unto swine and mire, leaving behind them horrible dispraises. So this picture says, the antique prow grows on its way, dividing more water than 'tis wont with others. So here's Pelagius traveling the water of all the people who are just really fucking mad at each other. And like kicking and biting and being freaks. And I, my master, should I be pleased if I can see him soused into this broth before we issue forth out the lake? And he to me, Ere under thee the shore reveal itself, thou shalt be satisfied. Such a desire 'tis meet thou shouldest enjoy. A little after that I saw such havoc made of him by the people of the mire that still I praise and thank my God for it. They were all shouting, At Filippino Argentini, and that exasperate spirit Florentine turned round upon himself with his own teeth. We left him there, and more of him I tell not, but on mine ears there smote a lamentation, whenceforward I intend to unbar mine eyes. And the good master said, Even now, my son, the city draweth near, whose name is Diz, with the grave citizens, with the great throng. And I, its mosques already mastered clearly within there in the valley, I discern vermilion, as if issuing from the fire they were. And he to me, the fire eternal that kindles them within, makes them look red, as thou beholdest in this nether hell. Then we arrived with the moats profound that circumvallate the disconsolate city. The walls appeared to me to be of iron. Then this picture says, Then stretched he both his hands unto the boat, whereat my wary master thrust him back. So some dude tries to, like, Filippo Argentini tries to fucking jump the boat. Oh my god. Y'all can't be looking at that. Some crazy stuff. Not without making first a circuit wide, we came into a place where the loud pilot cried out to us, Debark here is the entrance. More than 1,000 at the gate I saw, out of the heavens rained down, who angrily were saying, Who is this that without death goes to the kingdom of the dead people? And my sagacious master made a sign of wishing secretly to speak with them. A little then they quelled their great disdain, and said, Come thou alone, and he be gone, who has so boldly entered these dominions. Let him return alone by his mad road. Try if he can, for thou shalt here remain, who has escorted him through the darkest regions, through such dark regions. Sorry, I was looking at the percentage. Think, reader, if I was discomforted at utterance of the accursed words, for never to return here I believed. O my dear guide, who more than 7 times hast rendered me security and drawn me from imminent peril that stood before me, do not desert me, I said. Thus undone, and if the going farther be denied us, let us retrace our steps together swiftly. And that Lord, who had led me thitherward, said unto me, Fear not, because our passage none can take from us. It by such is given. But here await me in thy weary spirit, comforted and nourished with a better hope, for in this nether world I will not leave thee. So onward goes, and there abandons me my father sweet, and I remain in doubt, for no and yes within my head content. I cannot hear what he proposed to them, but with them there he did not linger longer, ere which each within in rivalry ran back. They closed the portal as those our adversaries, on my lord's breast, who had remained without, and turned to me with footsteps far between. His eyes cast down, his forehead shorn, had he all of its boldness, and said with sighs, Who has denied me to the dolesome houses? And unto me, Thou, because I am angry, fear not, for I will conquer in the trial whatever for defense within be planned. This arrogance of theirs is nothing new, for once they used it as a less secret gate which finds itself without a fastening still. O'er it did though behold the dead inscription, and now the side of its descent to sea, passing across the circles without escort, one by one, whose means the city shall be opened. And then the picture says, I could not hear what he proposed to them, but with them there he did not linger long, ere each within in rivalry ran back. So I guess some people were fucking like, Virgil can't go, and he was like getting mad at them or something? I don't really know. That actually kind of confused me. I was like, okay, so can Virgil not go with fucking Dante or not? Like, what's the fucking... What we got going on here? Alright, so... Canto 9. The Furies and Medusa, the Angel, the City of Dis, the Sixth Circle, Heresarchs. I think it's supposed to be heresy or something, I don't know. That hue which cowardice brought out on me, beholding my conductor backward turn, sooner repressed with him his new colour. He stopped attentive, like a man who listens, because the eye could not conduct him far through the black air and through the heavy fog. Still it behoveth us to win the fight, began he, else such offered us herself. Oh how I long that some one here I arrive. Well I perceived as soon as the beginning he covered up with what came afterward, that they were words quite different from the first, but none the less his saying gave me fear, because I carried out the broken phrase perhaps to a worse meaning than he had. Into this bottom of the doleful conch doth any air descent from the first grade, for its pain is only hope cut off. This second question put I, and he answered me, Seldom it comes to pass that one of us maketh the journey upon which I go. True it is, once before I here below was conjured by that pitiless Erictho, who summoned back the shades unto their bodies. Naked of me short where the flesh had been, before within the wall she made me enter, to bring the spirit from the circle of Judas. That is the lowest region and the darkest and farthest from heaven which circles us all. Well, know I the way, therefore be reassured. This fen, which a prodigious stench exhales, encompasses about the city dolent, where we can, where now we cannot enter without anger. And more he said, but not in mind. I have it, because mine eye had altogether drawn me towards the higher tower with the red flaming summit, where in a moment I saw swift uprisen the three eternal Furies, stained with blood, who had the limbs of women in their mind. With the greenest hydra and with the greenest hydras were begirt, small serpents and cerasts were their tresses, where within their horrid temples were entwined. And he who well the handmaids of the queen of everlasting lamentation knew, said unto me, Behold the fierce Erinyes. This is Megaria on the left side, she who is weeping on the right Alecto. Tisiphone is between, and then was silent. This is Mariga on the left side, she who is weeping is on the right, Alecto, and Tisiphone is between. That's what the picture says. And they look like these harpy chicks just covered in snakes. And they're like, that's fucking wicked. That is wicked. Each one of her breasts was rending with her nails. They beat them with their palms and cried so loud that I, for dread, pressed close unto the poet. Would do succumb, so we to stone will change him. All shouted looking down. An evil hour avenged we on not Theseus his assault. Turn thyself around and keep thine eyes close shut, for if the Gorgon appear and thou shouldst see it, no more returning upward would there be. Thus said the master, and he turned me around himself, and trusted not unto my hand, so far as not to blind me with his own. O ye who have undistempered intellects, observe the doctrine that conceals itself beneath the veil of the mysterious verses. And now there came across the turbid waves the clangor of a sound with terror fraught, because of which both the margins trembled. Not otherwise it was than of a wind, impetuous on account of adverse heats, that smites the forest, and without restraint the branches rends, beats down, and bears away. Right onward, laden with dust, it goes superb, and puts to flight the wild beasts and the shepherds. Mine eyes he loosened and said, Direct the nerve of vision now along that ancient foam, there yonder where that smoke is more intense. Even as the frogs before the hostile serpent across the water scatter all abroad, until each one is huddled into the earth. More than 1,000 ruined souls I saw, thus fleeing from before one who on foot was passing over the Styx with souls unwet. From off his face he fanned the unctuous air. I don't know. Left his it's UNCTUOUS air, waving his left. Actually, let's look it up. And it looks like part 4 is live. So that's good. Unctuous. For excessively ingratiating, flattering, oily. Unctuous. Oh, yeah, they've used that word before, I feel. Where was I? I can't find it. Oh, no. Oh. From off his face he fanned the unctuous air, waving his left hand oft in front of him, and only without anguish seemed he weary. Well, I perceived one sent from heaven was he, and to the master turned, he made a sign that I should quite stand and bow before him. Ah, how disdainful he appeared to me! He reached the gate, and with a little rod he opened it, for there was no resistance. O banished out of heaven, people despised, thus he began upon the horrid threshold. Whence is this arrogance within you couched? Wherefore recalcitrate against that will, from which the end can never be cut off, and which has many times increased your pain? What helpeth it to butt against the fates? Your Cerberus, if you remember well, for that still bears his chin and gullet peeled. Then he returned along the merry road, and spake no word to us, but had the look of one whom other care constrains and goads, than that of him, who in his presence is, and we our feet directed towards the city after those holy words all confident. Within we entered without any contest, and I, who inclination had to see, what condition such as a fortress holds. Soon as I was within, cast around mine eyes, and I see on every hand an ample plain, full of distress and torment terrible. Even as at Arles, where stagnant grows the Rhone, even as the Pulla near the Quinero, that shuts in Italy and bathes its borders, the sepulchres make all the places uneven. So likewise did they there on every side, saving that there the manner was more bitter, for flames between the sepulchres were scattered, by which they so intensely heated were, that iron more so asks not any art. That's kind of a cool way of saying that. All of their coverings uplifted were, and from them issued forth such dire laments. Soon seemed they of the wretched and tormented. And I, my master, what are all these people who have sepultured within those tombs, made themselves audible by doleful sighs? And he to me, here are the heresiarchs, with their disciples of all sects, and much more than thou thinkest laden are the tombs. And this picture says, he reached the gate with a little rod, he opened it, for there was no resistance. And here's like an angel opening the city of Diz, or whatever, for Dante and Virgil. Very nice, say thank you. Here like together with its like Here like together with its like is buried, and more and less the monuments are heeded, and when he to the right had turned, we passed between the torments and high parapets. And this is them entering the city, and there's just these people sitting in these little chambers of heat. And it says, my master, what are all those people who have sepulture within these tombs, make themselves audible by doleful sighs? Yeah, they're just like in these little sauna things. That's kind of awful. But that's also it for these two cantos. We are steadily going along this book. I've been liking it. I mean, it's just like Christian fan fiction, which I feel like I knew going in. But you know, there's like mentions of some Greek stuff like Medusa and all that, and I was like, wow, okay. And like important historical figures like Filippo Argentini. Okay, I think, yeah. So part 4 should be up by now. And this is part 5, which will probably be up after I upload something else, because I don't want to post them too often. My retail therapy is still getting hella views, which is kind of funny, I must say. I do be laughing. Wait, why does it say that there's one unavailable... What? Okay, so I'm looking at my playlist for the Divine Comedy. It says one video is hidden. Ew. I don't like hearing my own voice. What is the video that is fucking hidden? You're not making sense. I'll figure this out later. But thanks guys for listening, and see you later.